welcome back to my channel. My name is Nay. If you're new, welcome to our channel. Definitely subscribe and join our family. Thank you guys so much for watching this video first and foremost. So today's video, we are going to talk about finances, and this is something that I think is extremely important, especially for millennials, just because we aren't really taught about finances unless we're taught by our parents or like professors. I want to share with you guys some tips and tricks that I've learned throughout my years so far. I'm currently 23, so I have 6 tips to share with you guys all about finances. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first tip that I have is to create a budget. Budgeting is something that is extremely important so that you know where the majority of your money is going, what bills you have to pay, and it helps you prioritize your life. So some things that I have on my budget, I'm going to read out loud to you guys. I basically have like rent, electric, cable, Wi-Fi, gas, groceries, out to eat, some other things that you could throw in there is like if you have a pet, if you have a gym membership, fashion, traveling, a car payment, insurance, school, other random things like Netflix or Spotify. This helps you look at what is set in stone and what can be played around with. So I have this whole budget in my Google Drive, and then I also have a section of income that comes in. Something that I do is I prioritize my budget. So I make sure to put in what I want to be spending money on and what's more important to me and which ones can fluctuate a little bit. So for example, fashion. I love buying clothes, but that's not my main priority, so I don't have a fashion section in my budget. Another thing that could be not a priority for you guys is rent. Some people like to live alone, some people like to live with roommates, some people want to just live with their parents, which is totally fine, so that you can save money and become more financially independent and focus your money and attention on something that you are prioritizing. Another prioritizing thing could be if you're trying to start a business, if you're saving for a house, going out to eat. My budget is monthly, but you can look at it weekly. So for example, if you're going out to eat, how much do you want to spend every week going out to eat? Do you want to go out once, twice, 3 times a week? Realistically, think how much you spend when you go out to eat. For example, let's say you spend $30 when you go out to eat. Times that by 4, that's how much your monthly out to eat budget is going to be. The number one thing about your budget is you don't always have to meet that goal. Just because you budgeted $400 to go out to eat doesn't mean you have to spend $400 to go out to eat. If you don't, add up to your savings. Make sure that you're prioritizing what you want. Make sure you're giving it a realistic budget. You don't want to put something that's too low and then you always go over, because that's just going to give you a negative look on money and you're going to get stressed. All of that goes downhill. So what I do is, like, let's say I want to spend, I don't know, $400 a month on groceries. I'll just go ahead and bump that up by $20 to $50 just so I have that little leverage. Once you do this for a couple of months, you can kind of see where all of your money is going and you can tweak it every single month. So if you've noticed that you've been going over $100 every time in groceries, add $100 to the grocery section and then decrease $100 by something else. This is all tweakable. Sometimes you might see your pattern and want to change that. For example, if you go to Starbucks every single day and you see, oh my God, I'm spending this much money on Starbucks, it'll make you want to cut back. Add that to some other topic of your budget or just your savings. So I have a section, my actual versus like my budgeted section, and then I have a section that is like the difference between the two, and at the end it adds up to like how much I saved that month or how much I overspent. You want to make sure that you're paying your bills, things that are like a necessity that you have and you need to pay on time, otherwise you'll have credit issues, like rent, electric bill, things like that, your water bill. You want to make sure that you're paying those the minute they come in. Those are the main priority. So I have another section for work. So I will add up all of my spent money and then all of the money that has been income for that month, and I will find the difference, and again it will help me show how much I saved versus how much I overspent. Every single month I will go through like my credit card and my debit card, go through every single transaction, and then I will write down how much I spent. So as for like your work section, you always want to make sure that you're having multiple sources of income. That's kind of the goal. The more sources of income you have, the more leverage that you have if one fails or you no longer can rely on one of the incomes for that month. So that's kind of like your main priority, but you also want to make sure that you are having one source of creative flow of income, whether you're making income from it or not, or whether you want it in the future, something that you're working towards and something that is like your goal. You don't want to just have a full-time job and just be living paycheck to paycheck because you're bored in life. You want to always have something that you're working towards. So always add that into your income section, whether you're making money or losing money from it. always add it. If you're not making any, you just put a 0 there, but you know that it's like coming because you're putting it in that section. Also, if you're noticing that you're spending more money and you're not able to make those bills go lower, realistically, grab a part-time job. Like certain places like Starbucks, students go there and they actually pay for their school. So look up part-time jobs that have benefits. Do something, but know that it's just there for you, just for extra cash. Don't look at it as a negative part-time job. If you really hate it that much and you don't like it, get a different one. Another thing that you can do if you are a student, put your job as like applying for scholarships. There are so many different sources of income when it comes to school, scholarship-wise, internship-wise, and if you focus a certain amount of hours a day on looking for those sources of income, like grants, scholarships and stuff, that can become a part-time job, and that can be time spent for getting things that you truly want rather than part-time job and just wasting your time there. If you can find a better way to spend and prioritize your time to get more income for what you truly want, that's something I suggest, especially for students. Also, you can get super creative when it comes to like little part-time jobs. Some part-time jobs, they pay minimum wage, and that's not realistic for a lot of people. And for especially millennials, one thing that we have that a lot of other older people don't have is that we can use social media and we can use it to our advantage. So you can use it for yourself by creating a social media platform for yourself, but you can also use it for other people. So if there's an older person that doesn't really know much about social media and their business is kind of going down, you can step up to the plate and become that social media person for them and help promote their company. Another thing you could do is babysit, pet sit, house sit, clean, mow people's lawns, talk to your neighbors, figure out what you can do. I used to do that when I was in college. I actually was on care.com and I ended up getting so many babysitting jobs, and they paid way more than minimum wage. Plus, I felt like I was part of their family. Plus, they told their friends who told their friends, and eventually it got so much it became like a business. So definitely talk to other people and find other little sources of income through family and friends, because odds are that's going to be way better than having like a minimum wage job. You want to make sure that you're investing in yourself and in your future. Spend your money wisely. If you have a car payment, for example, that's not really where you want to be spending your money if you don't have other things that you're investing your money in. When I think of like a nice car, I think of it as like a toy rather than like that I need, because cars depreciate the minute you buy them. You're not making any money from them. You want to make sure that you're putting your money into things that you are investing in yourself, your future, your business, whatever it is. Make sure that you're spending money to make money, not spending money and watching it just flow away. Don't spend it on stupid things like a car payment if you can't afford your rent, or you know, just things like that. So the second topic is going to be all about credit. This is a super hard topic to talk about for a lot of people, especially millennials, because we have lots of student debt and we tend to get ourselves in trouble a little bit in the beginning, and then it's all downhill from that. But it's not. I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit on how I got started. Didn't start my credit until kind of like when I was 16 or 17. When I got my car, it was actually in my dad's name, so I wasn't building any credit that way, and I didn't have any credit. So what I did is I went to a credit card company, I think I was like Chase, and I kept getting denied because I didn't have credit. And it was frustrating to me because people who were like way in debt were getting approved for credit cards, and I literally had no debt. But no debt is just as bad as bad credit. Because I kept getting denied, I ended up having to go to a credit union, which I don't even know what the difference is, but basically I got a credit card, I think it was like for $1,000, and I just used that for every purchase that I made. But the number one thing that you want to do with credit cards, and this is extremely important, is to pay in full the month that it's due. So example, my credit card's due every 4th of the month, and I actually pay it on the 1st of every month, and I pay it in full. I never ever pay less than what's due. That could be a little bit difficult if you don't have the income for it, but don't use the credit as leeway. Do not get credit and do not put credit on your credit card if you don't have the money to pay it off. So once I built up my credit for about a year, I went to Chase and I ended up getting a credit card there, and I've been using that Chase card for as long as I can remember now, and I use it for everything. Like I said, I pay for it in full every single month. Make sure that when you're using your credit card too, that you're using it and kind of keeping note of your budget in the back of your mind, so that like if I went out to eat, okay, I know I spent $40 at this restaurant, so that's kind of over my weekly budget of $30, so next time I know. Just kind of keep it in the back of your head every time you use it. You also want to make sure that you are getting credit cards that do not have fees. Especially if you're new, you want to make sure that you are getting one with no fees. You do not want to pay for a credit card because that can just get you into trouble. Another thing is you really don't have to worry about paying interest fees if you're paying it every single month fully. So that's something that I didn't even have to learn just because I pay it every single month. You also want to make sure that you're paying cash for everything that you can realistically pay for. You want to avoid interest as much as possible because that's just money that you're throwing away. If you're buying big purchases like a bed or a desk or a TV, it just gets it out of the way, so it's just a one-time payment and you're good. If it's not something that you actually need and you're buying it and having to pay monthly for it and you're on some sort of plan, there's no point in getting it because you don't even have the money to afford it now. So I just think you shouldn't be buying it unless you had the money and the cash now. You also want to make sure that you remember that your credit is forever. So start it good and keep it that way. If it starts bad or off to a rocky start, build it back up. You're young, there's always a way up. So make sure that you just know that you're gonna have this forever with you. So make sure that you're treating it with care. Something else with my credit card now, the one with Chase, who are extremely amazing, I actually get money back for every dollar I spend. Don't use that as like a tool to like just go spend, but knowing that I use it all the time for all my transactions and then I'll pay it in full every single month. So basically anytime I'm ever low one month, I can always go to my credit points and just add that. So having credit points and like getting money back is something super important to me because it's just free money. You also want to make sure that you check your credit once a year. I use Credit Karma. If you check it more than once a year, not good for it. So make sure that you're only checking it once or twice a year. Make sure and double check everything. Make sure no one stole my identity. Make sure there's no bills on there that I don't recognize or know. And I actually had one time where there was like a debt collector. It was like some dentist or some doctor's appointment. They never called me, they never sent me anything, but because I changed my mailing address, I never got the bill. So I immediately called them up and paid it. Helps with things like that, because if I didn't see that, that would have been on my credit. So you just want to double check and make sure that everything is good once or twice a year, and you will be good. So the third thing that I have is don't be afraid to ask. Ask for a raise and most likely you will get a raise. When you ask for a raise, it shows confidence and it shows that you're strong-willed. It shows that you're invested in the company and you want to stay and you appreciate them and you know your worth. And odds are they're going to say yes. And the worst that they can say is no. So definitely don't be afraid to go out and ask for a raise or a bonus or maybe a promotion. The fourth tip that I have is to be cheap but not stupid. I know this sounds kind of mean, but some people think of like buying super cheap things and it seems scammy and then they get themselves in trouble and then they have to deal with that situation, then they get frustrated, then they lose money from it. If it sounds like a scam, it's most likely a scam. Make sure that you're buying things from reputable companies. Like if you're buying electronics, you want to make sure that you're buying them from Best Buy, Amazon. Most of the times those bigger companies, they price match. So if it is like you find a different deal, you can go up to them and ask them, say, hey, I found this laptop for this price on this website, can you match it? I'd rather spend a little bit more money on companies that are reliable than getting myself in a whole situation that can end up stealing my credit and things like that, because odds are that easy way out is like kind of a scam. If it seems like a scam and seems untrue and unreal, it most likely is a scam. I also find like really good deals. I do a little bit of research and I find like deals on it. So that's just something when I say like be cheap, just know where you're spending your money and spend your money wisely. The fifth tip that I have is quality over quantity. You want to make sure, especially when you're buying things for your home or for yourself, you want to make sure that you're buying quality products rather than quantity. Having a lot of like really cheap things is not the best. Less is more when it comes to everything. When you buy one good quality product and you spend a little bit more on the product, you'll have it for a longer period of time. If you buy a lesser quality product, you'll have to end up buying it more and more and you end up paying more in the long run. The sixth tip that I have is to create financial independence for yourself. You want to make sure that after everything, you're not relying on parents, partners, and sources of income that aren't reliable. You want to make sure that you are financially independent. If anything, your parents cut ties, your partner divorces you, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you are financially independent so you don't have that stress and worry over other people controlling your financial freedom. Independence is super key in growing as a person and also becoming comfortable with money. You want to make sure that you're understanding money. Becoming financially independent is super important to yourself and just protecting yourself overall. The seventh and last tip before my battery dies, I'm trying so hard to talk so fast, is health is wealth. A lot of people eat really crappy food, they drink a lot, they do drugs, they don't take care of their health, and in the long term will be detrimental to your wallet. Health issues, especially in America, are super expensive. You want to make sure that you're eating organic food, working out, going to the dentist. Just keep up on your health and know that whenever you're working on now is good for the long term. When you take care of yourself now, it's going to become a habit and you won't have to deal with all the bills and stuff that comes with unhealthy habits. You want to think long term. It could be physical and mental. You want to make sure that you're taking care of your mental health just as much as you're taking care of your physical health. This was a super long video. Thank you so much if you stuck to the end. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you guys have any other questions for me, please ask. I will answer every question that I can. See you guys all in another video soon. Bye guys. Time to go charge my battery.